My last video was about Maine Coons, the largest domestic cat breed, but today I'm talking about the smallest, the Munchkin. Small body, enormous personality, meet the Munchkin, the cat that refuses to act its size. This cat was found under a truck in 1983, and that accident created one of the most controversial breeds on the planet. Cat associations are still fighting over it today. One look at a Munchkin running and you'll understand why the internet can't stop sharing them. There is genuinely nothing on this planet that prepares you for the visual experience of watching a tiny furry sausage with miniature legs absolutely racing across hardwood floors like it has somewhere extremely important to be. It is chaotic, it is hilarious, and it is one of the many reasons people are absolutely obsessed with this breed. Let's start at the very beginning because the history of the Munchkin cat is actually way more interesting than most people realize. The short legs that define this breed were not deliberately bred into the animals by humans. They come from a naturally occurring genetic mutation, one that has actually been documented in the cat population for decades before the breed was ever officially recognized. There were reports of ace cats appearing in various parts of Europe as far back as the 1940s. These little cats were observed and noted, but nothing really came of it in terms of formal breeding programs at that time. The real turning point came in 1983 in Louisiana, when a woman named Sandra Hoekendel discovered two pregnant cats hiding underneath a truck. Both of these cats had the characteristic short legs. She kept one of them, named her Blackberry, and the kittens that followed carried on that same distinctive trait. One of those kittens, a male named Toulouse, was given to a friend, and together these two cats essentially became the founding pair of what would eventually become the recognized Munchkin breed. The genetics behind short legs is due to a dominant gene, meaning only one copy from a parent is needed for the trait to be passed on. This is an important detail, and we will return to it when we discuss health. The journey to official recognition was not smooth. When the Munchkin was presented to the International Cat Association in 1991, the reaction was mixed at best. There were serious concerns from geneticists, veterinarians, and breeders about whether deliberately breeding for this trait was ethical. The breed was placed in a special new breed development program, and it took until 2003 for the Munchkin to achieve full championship status with TICA. Not every major cat organization recognizes the Munchkin to this day, and the ethical debate around the breed has never fully gone away. We will talk about that more in the health section because it is something anyone considering this breed genuinely needs to understand. Now let us talk about what these cats actually look like, because beyond the legs there is quite a lot going on. The most obvious and defining feature is of course those short, stubby legs. They result in a cat that sits noticeably lower to the ground than any standard cat. The body itself is medium-sized and surprisingly muscular. The spine is also important to note because, unlike dachshunds or corgis, the Munchkin cat has a spine that is structured somewhat differently, and breeders have worked to ensure the back remains relatively straight and strong. Munchkins come in both long-haired and short-haired varieties. The coat can come in virtually every color and pattern imaginable, from solid blacks and whites to tabbies, tortoiseshells, and everything in between. Their eyes are large and walnut-shaped, giving them an expression of permanent wide-eyed wonder that honestly makes it very difficult to say no to anything they want. Their ears are proportionally large and sit alertly atop a rounded head. The overall impression is a cat that looks perpetually young, like it never quite grew up, which honestly suits its personality perfectly. Speaking of personality, this is where the Munchkin truly wins hearts. These are not shy, retiring cats that hide under the bed when guests come over. Munchkins are bold, they are outgoing, they are genuinely curious about everything happening around them, and they want to be part of it all. These cats are often described as kitten-like throughout their lives, maintaining that playful, energetic attitude well into adulthood and even old age. They love interactive toys, puzzle feeders, and anything that lets them use their brains. Despite popular assumption, the short legs do not make them slow or lazy. Munchkins can run and play with real enthusiasm. They just look absolutely ridiculous and wonderful doing it. One of the most endearing quirks of the Munchkin is their tendency to sit up on their hind legs like a little meerkat when something catches their attention. They will pop up on those back legs and survey the room with great seriousness, like they are conducting some important inspection of the premises. It is one of the most delightful things you will ever witness in a domestic animal. Munchkins are also notably social cats. They tend to get along well with children, with other cats, and often with dogs too, provided introductions are handled properly. They do not do particularly well with isolation, and they genuinely crave company and interaction. If you work long hours and are away from home frequently, having a second cat as a companion for your Munchkin is a really good idea. These cats want a friend, and they will let you know loudly and persistently if they feel neglected. Now we need to talk about health, because this is where the Munchkin conversation gets genuinely complicated. The gene responsible for those short legs is a dominant mutation, and here is the critical part that everyone needs to know. When two copies of this gene are inherited, meaning when both parents carry it, the outcome is fatal for the kitten. Kittens that inherit two copies of the gene do not survive. This is why responsible breeders always pair a Munchkin with a standard cat, ensuring that kittens receive at most one copy of the gene. The ongoing concern among veterinarians is whether shortened limbs lead to joint problems, spinal issues, or mobility difficulties over time. An honest answer is that current research on this is somewhat mixed. Many Munchkins live full, active, pain-free lives, with lifespans typically ranging from 12 to 15 years. However, there are documented cases of lordosis, which is an abnormal inward curvature of the spine, and pectus excavatum, a condition affecting the chest wall. These issues do not affect all Munchkins, but they are real, and they underscore why choosing a reputable, responsible breeder is not just a preference. It is genuinely important for the health of the cat you bring home. A good breeder will provide comprehensive health screenings, be transparent about the parent cats, and be willing to discuss the breed's genetic realities. Any breeder who dismisses health concerns entirely or cannot answer your questions clearly is a breeder you should walk away from without hesitation. Now, let us get to the part you have probably been building toward. Why would you actually want one of these cats? Because beyond the cuteness, beyond the viral videos, is there a real case for the Munchkin being a great companion? Absolutely yes, with the right expectations in place. If you want a cat that is interactive, affectionate, and genuinely entertaining to live with, the Munchkin delivers. These cats are not aloof. They want to be near you, with you, and preferably on whatever you are currently trying to use. They will interrupt your work calls by sitting directly in front of your webcam. They will steal small shiny objects and hide them in places you will not find for weeks. They will follow you from room to room like a tiny, low-riding shadow, deeply invested in everything you do. They are well suited to apartment living because, despite their playful energy, they do not need massive spaces. They are adaptable and genuinely good with families. For first-time cat owners, the Munchkin is often a welcoming entry point into cat ownership precisely because of how social and approachable they are. The ethical conversation around the breed is real, and it is worth having with yourself before you commit. But if you go in informed, source your cat responsibly, and commit to regular veterinary care, a Munchkin can be an extraordinary companion animal. These small cats carry enormous personality in that compact little frame. They are proof that something does not have to be large to leave a huge mark on your life. If you have been on the fence about the Munchkin cat, hopefully today has helped you understand exactly what you would be signing up for. Make sure you subscribe because we have got a lot more coming for cat lovers just like you.